After suffering another blow to the head with Goldberg's spear through the cage, smashing his head on the steel barricade to add to his concussion last Monday, Vince Russo was set to write himself off TV in the last Nitro in its original scheduling taping, with the talent roster and production crew set to fly to Australia for the next 2 weeks while starting to shoot Thunder immediately following Nitro when coming back to the US on October 23rd. While in the meantime, rumors on the potential sale of the company to a group headed by Eric Bischoff were heating up, including first public comments by Hulk Hogan after months which saw him suing Russo and the company, saying in a radio interview that based on several phone calls he got the deal is close to be done and should be announced soon, with Russo in a statement addressing the events of the past week saying that he proved he can win the WCW title and is now relinquishing it with a match between Steiner and Jarrett for the belt set for the main event, turning to Goldberg to bring him out to the ring, with Russo driving out in a protected glass saying that Goldberg's fate is in his hands after spearing him last week, announcing that starting tonight Goldberg will be fired on his first loss unless he repeats his 176-win undefeated streak, bringing out men as Goldberg's first opponent, with the Russo-Goldberg segment in Russo's final segment on Nitro gaining over 700,000 viewers to what ended up the peak of the night 3.3 rating. In a segment that ended up playing off the legit situation going on behind the scenes, Russo put Mike Sanders in charge of the show as the on-screen authority figure to replace him in the role, as with the rumored ownership change and morale in the locker room said to be up across the board, including WCW Internet supervisor Bob Ryder saying that morale under the current Russo regime is the highest it's ever been since he was involved in the company. Conan organized a petition which the vast majority of the talent roster signed in support of Russo due to more new names getting opportunity to get over on TV, with Russo, who is scheduled to be on the Australia tour as the head writer and one of the main TV performers, notified Brad Siegel that due to his head injuries he won't go on the tour but instead help write the TV shows from home and fax it to the crew overseas, with Nitro's final quarter seeing the Goldberg vs. Meng match placed just before the top of the hour, with Goldberg going over for his first win in the new streak. Nitro, which had noticeably more in-ring wrestling on the night, including a rare situation of 2 matches going past the 10-minute mark on the same program, opened the first head-to-head quarter with the Steiner and Sting vs. Booker and Jarrett #1 contender tag match to set up the main event, going 11 minutes with Jarrett and Booker going over to book them against each other for the belt in half an hour, doing a 2.3 opening quarter rating. Raw, on its second TNN show after breaking all network viewership records last Monday, opened with Rock coming out for a promo in front of over 17,000 at the MCI Center in Washington to start the build to the No Mercy pay-per-view, calling out Kurt Angle after being pinned by him last Thursday, while bringing up new Olympic gold medal winner Roland Gardner, coming after Gardner won the gold by beating the top wrestler in the world in Alexander Caroline in one of the biggest upsets in amateur wrestling history, with the company at one point looking to bring Gardner in to work an angle with Kurt and perhaps get involved in the build-up for the upcoming Rock vs. Angle feud, bringing out Angle for the response saying that Gardner didn't beat the top wrestler as he was not in the Olympics, closing the first quarter opening with a 4.4 rating, with Mick Foley followed by Triple H coming out wanting a shot against Rock for the title. Nitro's second quarter going against the Big Star Power promo segment on Raw saw an originally scheduled Skipper vs. Sanders Cruiserweight title match being turned by Sanders into an handicap match with Nash as his partner, ending up with Nash cutting a promo throughout the match before laying out Skipper to bring another belt to the Thrillers group, while Raw's opening segment ended up one of the longest in show history with Chris Benoit and Kane coming out next wanting title shots against Rock, followed by Rikishi to set up the two top matches for tonight with Rock and Rikishi vs. Kane and Benoit, and a #1 contender match for No Mercy with Angle vs. Hunter in the main event, leading to Raw jumping over 1.3 million viewers throughout the segment to a 5.3 rating. As with the hyped Raw last week ending up the most watched show in TNN history with over 7.1 million viewers, TNN's president commented on the WWF surpassing their initial expectations, with the network expected around a 5 rating for the debut show, while Raw ended up drawing a 5.4, saying that Raw not only drew the huge audience for its own 2 hours but also lifted the show's leading to 9 p.m. to draw double its usual viewership, while responding to ECW staying on the network after months of their last show was set for September 22, saying that ECW would remain on TNN through October 6 after Vince McMahon signed a waiver to allow them to stay until finding a new cable TV home. After going over Meng to restart the streak, Goldberg was back out for his second match of the night, going over the Harris brothers in a quick handicap match to end the show with 3 wins on the way to 176, with the rest of the quarter seeing the payoff of David Flair's search for the father, with Buff Bagwell being revealed under the mask to make his TV return, laying out Flair, with Raw against it having 2 tag matches in the quarter, first with a Hardys vs. Too Cool tag titles match going 4 minutes with the Hardys retaining after Edge and Christian's interference, followed by Ravens and Ring Raw debut teaming with Taz and X-Pac against Jericho and the Dudleys, with Steve Austin shown arriving to the building 45 minutes into the show to a 1.925 rating margin. Booker and Jarrett went 13 minutes in the main event for the vacated title in a match which was turned into a 4 corners 49ers match, with the first one getting the belt from one of 4 boxes wins the title, with the match in a direct turnover from Raw, which had 2 commercial breaks in the quarter, and a Lita vs. Jacqueline backstage brawl, gaining over 900,000 viewers to a peak 2.6 rating to the closest margin on the night from Raw's 4.5. Ending up with the follow-up of last week's angle with Beetlejuice interfering for the finish, with Booker winning back the title while Scott Steiner attacked him post-match to set him up as the next contender a day before flying to Australia. With Raw able to maintain its viewership after a massive marketing campaign by Viacom to let viewers know about the channel switch, the WWF secondary shows, which went from airing on USA Network to MTV and TNN, took a major hit, with all 3 weekend shows from Superstars to Heat falling to their lowest rated episodes in years, with the company hoping that regular viewers will return to watch the show when the new networks are established in the next few weeks. Raw had a loaded up top of the hour quarter which from now on would become an even bigger potential drawing segment due to WCW no longer going past 10 p.m., opening with a Rock and Rikishi vs Benoit and Kane tag match going 7 minutes ending up with Rock and Rikishi going over, followed by Mick Foley coming out to confront Steve Austin moments later, calling him out to the ring after Austin again interfered in several matches on SmackDown last Thursday, with Foley telling Austin that he understands Austin's problems with authority figures but he needs to realize that he's not Vince McMahon, saying that Austin is free to continue his investigation as long as he's not interfering in matches again before bringing out one of the main suspects which at one point was strongly rumored to legitimately be revealed as the driver in the returning Billy Gunn, making his first appearance back since suffering a major shoulder injury in February, with Gunn the main suspect due to being the only DX member not to be shown on camera during the parking lot skit at Survivor Series 99, telling Austin that the reason he wasn't there was because his flight was delayed in Detroit, revealing that he saw a car driving past him just when entering the building with the driver having blonde hair, with Raw's Big Star Power quarter to open the second hour jumping big with over 50% of the audience watching the Nitro main event switching to TNN with an over 1.8 million viewers spike to the peak quarter of the night 6 rating for the Rock and Rikishi vs Kane and Benoit match followed by the Foley-Austin Gunn segment. After impressing producers in his cameo role for The Mummy in May and signing along with Vince McMahon with talent agency Endeavor a few months back to handle his Hollywood opportunities, Rock signed for his first lead movie role for The Scorpion King during the week with an all-time record contract for an actor in his debut role of around $5.5 million. With Vince who is going to get an executive producer credit on the film commenting on Rock's signing saying that the current plan is for Rock to start shooting after WrestleMania 17 in April, but with optimistic expectations that Rock would still remain a presence on WWF TV during the filming even if in a more limited role, with Rock's house show schedule starting this month on the way to April set to be cut significantly with the days of him working a full-time road schedule looking to be over due to the now additional commitments, with Vince in a press conference earlier in the day on WWF's Business Report talking about the revenue projections for the company for the year which is set to break every record in history, noting that first estimates for the Unforgiven pay-per-view buys from last Sunday came in at a huge figure of over 600,000 buys, making it a near all-time record pay-per-view for a non-WrestleMania event, with Raw's main event of Kurt Angle vs Triple H going 8 minutes in the overrun to peak at a 6.1 rating, ending up with Benoit interfering for the finish with Kurt going over to set up Rock vs Angle for the No Mercy pay-per-view, with Raw remaining steady in its second TNN show with another 5.4 rating.